Yeah, in this video, we are going to talk about, I'm going to tell you about the last things that I do to make sure the car is absolutely ready. The car has been prepared by the mechanics and it's actually been put in the hangar, as you can see. But right before I get into it, I would need, as a driver, to actually do some, call them what the pilot has to do on the car. Like check some things, make sure everything is good, make some adjustments where required, things that a pilot or a driver can do before you actually take off, into competition. In this case, one of the first things I'll probably do is to check the tire pressures. Yeah. And of course, as I'm doing the tire pressures for the car, I'll also do the tire pressures for any adjacent cars. In this case, we have the Evo 6 parked there, not doing much. Uh, but our focus is on the rally car. So we last competed in July, at the end of July, in the last sprint that we did with this car. And probably had it parked, anywhere a couple of weeks, maybe a week, couple of weeks after that event. So you're talking August, September, October, November, December. So this car hasn't actually moved up, it hasn't turned the wheel in 5 months. Having said that, before we packed it, the car was done. The mechanics, made sure. I think on that occasion we had a broken shift cable, and yeah, they've had that sorted out. So one of the things I'll do, of course, I'll check all the levels. I'll start with, with the coolant level. I'll check the oil. I'll check the brake fluid. I will check, yeah, tire pressure. Basically the same things, you're basically making sure if anything that needs to be topped up, you top it up. If something is really showing that the level has really dropped, maybe there is a leakage on the vehicle that then requires the mechanics to look at it again. In this case, looking at the coolant, looking at the clutch and brake fluid, which is one thing, and everything is okay. So after that, I'll look around inside and outside the car, and basically I'll then also start the car, make sure battery is good, start the car up, and take it out for short drives where I can check on different things, including braking system, including steering, power steering, including power, acceleration, boost, things like that, just to make sure, small things, and also make sure I don't hear any funny noises in there. Of course, I have Emma, who's helping me over there with the tire. He's something that he's become proficient at. Yeah, maybe another thing is look around the engine room, make sure you don't have any pipes that are looking off, or wires, sockets that are open that shouldn't be. Yes, so tire pressures, typically we're looking at 2 bars or 29 psi. However, if it is wet, as it looks likely to be, we'll probably even reduce that to about 1.8 bars. But that again, I'll actually do on the racetrack at Busika in this case, because this is now, by the time I'm doing this video, we are going to Busika for a sprint. Yeah, one of the things that I also do today is I'll be looking at the damper clicks. I have a setup that works for me for most of the rallies in Uganda. However, in this case, looking at the videos that I've seen coming out of Busika, looks like we have a freshly dark track. It doesn't look very compact. It's probably like to be loose. At the same time, looking at the route that they've done, I just checked this from the road book. They have put in 1, 2, 3, 4, about 4 spinning zones, basically, where you have to do either very tight hairpins or donuts. In this case, I need to have a car which doesn't really understeer. It has to be more like oversteer, so that it can really like push the tail out very quickly and then keep it spinning. So I have to have a loose rear, all my equipment, all my safety equipment. Of course, the bucket seats are already in the car, but belts, in this case co-driver's belts, clearly were not put back where they're supposed to be. Even my side, on my side as well, I have to do some adjustment. But yeah, so you have looking at the intercom, that is our amplifier. That needs to be tied up. I don't have any tie wraps on me right now, but this is something that I can also do on race day. It doesn't take too long. It takes maybe 5-10 minutes to put it in. And in this case for a sprint, typically even if we didn't really have intercom, I think we can get around. But yeah, this is something that I'll have to do. I'll have to check the intercom battery as well. Check the map reading light in case we have any night sections. What else? Yeah, I'll have to check on things like the fire extinguishers, reflectors, things that I have to carry in the car, the safety equipment, as well as most of my other equipment, like from driver comforts. Most of that is in a bag which I keep in the house, and I will only bring that out on the rally day itself. So things like my helmets, my gloves, balaclavas, race suits. I have like a bag, a cooling bag, where I put some ice packs and I carry some drinks in there as well. Something to carry my phone, things like that. I'm not going to have them in the car immediately. I'll also have like onboard cameras. I take them out obviously after the race so that I'm able to take off the footage. Also to charge them. In this case, similar to the intercom amplifier, I will be putting this in on race day, or maybe even tomorrow. I might go out to practice. That will all depend on whether my truck driver will show up. I spoke to him today, and he says he's actually in the village, and he's trying to get me someone else who can actually drive the truck. I can drive the truck, obviously. I would rather not. I would rather just like be happy. I don't want to drive, not in this Christmas traffic. It's just too much. Yeah, so these are 6-point seat belts. So as we have to put, apart from we have to hook them down on the bottom under the seat, as well as at the back on the roll cage in the back of the car. There is what you're seeing, that white board with a green OK sign. That's mandatory, with something that we carry in case you have an accident. If you're okay, you have to display it for like all the cars that are oncoming. Or if you need help, then you flip it. On the other side, it's a red SOS. It means somebody needs to stop and offer you some help. Yeah, so what we have also back there is a helmet hammock. And in the helmet hammock, obviously, we just put the helmets. Might also dump, a couple of things, maybe like tie wraps, so something very light and harmless in there. Otherwise, everything else has to be stored and secured and strapped to the bottom of the car. So, for instance, all the tools that we carry in the car, they will be strapped somewhere at the bottom, near the bottom, really at the bottom on the floor of a car, to make sure in case of a rollover, they're not going to forget even a rollover. Let's say you're in a jump, car jumps and things go flying inside there. If they're not really secure, very well secured, they will fly at you and probably end up hitting you on the head. Yeah, I'm going to need some tape to actually tape that back on the doorway. Reflectors in there. Next, I think I'll check on the fire extinguisher. I have the fire. This is the second fire extinguisher. I have another one at the front, which is at the foot of the co-driver. This is behind me, and this is plumbed in. So this will be, it's a mechanical, semi-automatic system, which you basically just pull a lever and it starts spraying. So one of very, very important things, looks like minor, but it's very important, is actually making sure your belts are done and they're snug in a way so that you don't have, when you enter the car, you don't want to find yourself when the belts are a little bit off. Sometimes the only way you're going to find out is you're going to start a stage, you think you're strapped in, you're tight, and then you're actually going to hit like a jump, and when you hit a jump, you go like that, and you end up pulling at the belts, and when you come back down, actually the belts are loose. And then what's going to happen is if you end up having, in an accident and the car has to suddenly stop, then you're basically going to end up with injuries on your chest. Yeah, so what I do right now, I'm not dressed in a rest suit. I also don't have the head and neck support, the hands device support. I don't have that. But when I'm doing the belts, when I'm checking them, I'll actually make sure there's a bit of slack under them, under the shoulders, so that when I have the when I put in the hands device, then it's going to have I don't have to do a lot of adjustment. I'll just do a little tug on either side, and I'll be good. Let's see. Okay, what else? Yeah. So next thing is to make sure the car does actually start up. Yeah. And to look on the dashboard to see if there's anything untoward, something I need to look at. So okay, looks like the car is started up, and so in this case I'll actually pull out of the hanger and put the car somewhere where I could actually walk, because in this case, like I said, I want to work a little bit on that. I want to change my damper clicks a little bit to make the rear a little bit looser, a little bit, like even more entertainment for the spectators if you want. Yeah, so obviously we have some chickens, we have a chicken coop, we are that sort of people that keep chickens at home. Yeah, so I will also make some changes to the front, very minor, but majorly I'm going to make some adjustments to the low speed bump, which basically is that what that controls is when the car comes, the high speed bump is what deals with potholes, like really big holes and humps and jumps, and then the low speed bump or low speed compression adjuster is basically the setting is what then deals with things like yaw and when the car, when you're braking, when you have very minor imperfections in the road surface, then the tire, that's what controls how the tire moves. So I will jack the car up, and also while I'm down there, I'll also just take a look at things, but mostly with these things, without doing a spanner check, you can't know. So the only way I'll know as a driver, even if everything looks all nice, tight and well put together, is if I actually take the car out, and then I'll be able to hear some noises or see if the car is not behaving the way that it is supposed to. Yeah, so yeah, we also do have some cats and dogs and chickens and rabbits and all sorts of things in my yard. Yeah, apart from the big ones that you saw, the big cats, which is the rally cars. Yeah, so what you have down there is you have a canister, and you have a dust cap. So the dust cap also obviously then acts as it also keeps the water out, because what you don't want is for these parts to pick up water and rust. As you can see, is all the other parts which are exposed. That you're looking at the cross member, I think it could really do with it's done so many rallies. I don't know when we last painted it, but it's fine, as well as the exhaust. They just need to come out and just get a bit of a paint job, and they'll be fine. So for the time being, they're all good. So we'll just adjust Obviously, if it turns out that if it actually rains on the day, then I'll have to make these settings. I'll have to put them back the way they were, or even make the car, because I've just made the car a little bit stiffer on the rear, yeah. And but if it rains, I'll have to have it super soft. So in this case, I'll put the setting back to where it was supposed to be, and I'll also then lower the tire pressures to make sure that we have extra grip and extra feel, you know. Keep the tires, I want to keep the tires on the ground more, you know, to get that extra grip. So we do this both on the left side and the left side on the rear, and then we'll do something minor on the front, yeah. So things that affect, obviously, the other thing that we'll have to look at, but that I can do in the car at any point, is the brake bias. So we also have an adjustable or a brake bias adjuster, so we can actually move braking force. We can adjust how much force we have on the front compared to how much we have on the rear. Again, if you're looking for for a car that can really rotate quickly, then you have to increase the bias on, you know, towards the rear. So mostly we'll have it in the front. If I have a really fast rally with not so many big turns, then it will be at the front. But if it's a fairly slow rally, or especially if it's a wet rally, then we'll have it either neutral or we'll have it at the rear. Basically, we'll have adjustment turn to the back, so we'll have more braking force to the rear. So the moment I attach the brake, I'll have the rear wheels will actually lock up before the front ones do. So, you know, if I'm turning in, and it will be as if I've put a handbrake. Okay, so rear gets done, replace the dust cap, you know, and then we will be putting the car down at the rear so that we then can go to the front. At the front, ordinarily, we shouldn't have to jack the car up. So in this case, you could just simply, you know, turn the wheels and that will work. So let's see. So another thing is sometimes you also have to work like on the ride height. You know, when the car is up like this, you do adjust the height. Again, depending on if you have a very rough event, or, you know, like you've seen on the WRC, they have some events where they start out, the first pass is quite smooth, and then by the time 50 cars have gone through and they come out for the second pass, they need to make an adjustment to raise the car a little bit. So in this case, again, you have to jack the car. Crucially, if you want to do some measurements, then you can't just, after making the adjustments or working on the rear of a car, you need to move the car a little bit before actually measure to see whether it has actually achieved the height. So as you can see, when the car comes down, these dampers, you can see the rear is actually still a little bit raised, and not a little bit, quite a bit, and looks like the wheels are showing they're showing a positive camber. Yeah. So is it a positive or negative? Forgetting my terms. But yeah, the wheels are not supposed to be like this. Okay, that is bad. It can be used in racing, very short races, if you want a very nervous car. Okay, but you want a little bit of that where it comes to high speed gravel and tarmac as well. So what I'll do now is to basically move the car a little bit up and down so that it just goes back to how it's supposed to be standing. And again, sometimes these things, why they're important is you don't want something to look off, because if it looks off, it needs to be looked at. Okay, it needs to be fixed. And if it looks off because of something that you did, then you better fix it before someone else comes who doesn't know that, oh, you are under the car, you're jacked it up. Because it's like if the mechanics just came and found the car looking like that, they'll probably just go in and say, okay, I think this car needs to be aligned. In this case, as you can see, as we just go over that imperfection, you know, the interface between the grass lawn and the concrete, as the tire moves that like that, you're getting it basically settles back down to the way that it's supposed to stand. And I think we have what you call like a positive brake. We have, you know, the rear looking like it's a little bit higher than the front, which is something that, you know, it's a setup issue or a setup strategy, so that when you take off, when you accelerate, the car goes level like this. If your car is level, if your car starts out level like this, and then you're accelerating, then it's going to do like that. So when you do that, you're basically working against yourself, because you're basically getting extra wind force under the car that will make the front of the car less stable, and it will end up, what's the word? You're going to end up massively oversteering, rather understeering, because your front wheels aren't really touching the ground. So in this case, we're able to actually adjust the front right, you know, without jacking the car up. But when it came to the front left, I wasn't able to get enough space. Well, and the reason is, with the front right of the car, I'm using my right hand, you know. In the small space on the other side, I was not able to use. I needed to be able to use my right hand because I'm right-handed. But in this case, when it came to that side, then I failed, because I only had enough space for the left hand to actually go in. So, but yeah, so same thing here. So I made a tiny adjustment, and this is to make sure, because, you know, I don't want to have the car doing, you know, like that even at the front. So I made a minor adjustment on the front and a bigger adjustment on the rear to compensate for that. So yeah, start the car, turn the wheel the other way, so that you open it up, so that you're able to go in and see if you can actually work in it. But like I already said, I wasn't able to do that because of, you know, I'm right-handed and I couldn't use my left hand, you know, because there's only space in there to actually put in one hand, and then, you know, between trying to pull off the dust cap and making the right adjustment, and these clicks are very what's the word? They are very sensitive, so you could end up putting on a bit too much. So you need to be able to see it and also to hear it as you're turning the adjuster. So in this case, you know, I'll have to jack the car up and go in and do this properly. Okay, so another thing you'll notice, at this point in time, we don't have a sump guard under the car yet. And the reason is, we should be able to, you never know where you're going to need to go under there. Sump guard is something that, like for me as a driver, I probably wouldn't be able to take it off. I've taken it off before, you know, when it was just literally almost pulled off in a stage. So it was remaining with just 2 bolts at the front, so I managed to take that off. But normally you don't want to take it off during competition. So, but also right before the competition, you want the sump guard to be off, so that the mechanics can go in and see anything. Because once the sump guard is on, for instance, you won't be able to see like any leakages, yeah, and they might be there and you're just not seeing them because there's a sump guard. But when the car is parked somewhere like that and I see anything dripping, or I see, you know, it's wet under it, then I'll tell them and they should be able to fix it. And when everything is done, then we can put on a sump guard. Yeah. So yeah, so a couple of clicks, yeah, that should give us a little bit firmer, because I want to have sort of confidence in as much as yeah. But if I want a soft car, then again I'll be able to do this on the truck, or I will know. I will know as we drive into Busika, on Boxing Day. I will know whether it has rained, and as the car is being put down, I should even be able to knock a carrier to actually make the adjustments before the car drives down and becomes a little bit more inaccessible. So damper clicks adjustments are done. So now we should be able to put the car down and take it out on the road for an actual systems check. Basically, make sure that everything is working, and everything is working. So we've already checked. The engine is starting, battery is good, engine is good, oil pressure is good. Drive the car for a while. Temperature, see how the temperature is stable. Look at your turbo boost pressure, see if it's good. Look at your braking. Of course, our brakes need a bit of warming up, but once they get to temperature, are they able to, do they, what's the word? Does a car like brake, well enough? Good braking distance? Do you get like a soft pedal? Of course, I'm not going to stress the car at this point in time. I'm just going to check it's braking. Clutch, how does it, take off? Does it slip or not? Power steering, is it, soft enough, or is it a bit hard? Does it make noises? And yeah, speaking about noises, the biggest issue at this point in time, I don't want to hear any noise, because if I hear any noise, okay. So here I'm putting on my, I don't like putting on glasses, but since Thierry Neuville is world champion right now and he wears glasses, I thought, why not? I should be able to use my glasses, especially because I was looking at the damper clicks and looking out for things. I need to make sure that my vision is 2020. Yeah, so we'll get out now and do a drive around, around my home village. Nothing too fast, nothing crazy. Like I said, we're just checking, that the car can drive properly and everything is working. So a proper test would have to be done under, quiet conditions, a closed road, probably a truck. And in that test, then we'll be able to see if the car actually does like all the extreme performance things. So this is purely a systems check, make sure that the car will not disappoint us getting out of the blocks. Looks like we're done. What we did is went out for a drive, everything checked out, everything looked good. And tomorrow, Sunday, we will, if the driver shows up, our truck driver shows up, I'll be able to take the car to Busika for a test and practice. Really practice, doesn't really count for a test, but it's really practice. And hopefully everything will be good. I'll see you at Boxing Day at this point.